Welcome to Mr. Beck Does Your Homework. This is physics homework number 5. It says, when Maggie applies the brakes of her car, the car slows uniformly from 15.3 meters per second
to 0 meters per second in 2.33 seconds. How far ahead of a stop sign must she apply her brakes in order to stop at the sign? So we've got a car that's zipping along at some speed, and it wants to slow down so that it can get to this stop sign and be at rest when it gets to the stop sign. So it's going to have to, if it's moving to the right, it's going to have to accelerate to the left in order to slow down. In order to slow down, you're going to accelerate the opposite the direction you're going. So let's see what we know. The car slows uniformly from 15.3 meters per second. That's my initial velocity, is 15.3 meters per second. To 0 meters per second. Well, that's my final velocity. She's going to end up at 0 meters per second in 2.33 seconds. So my time, when I see seconds, that's time. Time is 2.33 seconds. The question asks, how far ahead? How far? I'm looking for the distance that she's going to travel while she's slowing down. So my displacement equals question mark. Now the question is, do I have an equation, one of my 4 equations of motion, that has initial velocity, it has final velocity, it has time, it has displacement, but it doesn't have acceleration because I don't know the acceleration. I don't care about the acceleration. Sure, I could calculate it if I want, but why bother when I have an equation that'll help me out without me having to do extra calculations? I do have an equation. It's our 4th equation of motion. It says that it's not. The one without an acceleration is my 2nd equation. That tells me that my displacement is my average velocity, and my average velocity is just my initial velocity plus my final velocity divided by 2 times time. So my distance is 1/2 of v0 plus v times t. So when I plug in my numbers now that I've identified my variables, I have drawn a picture if necessary, I've identified my variables, I've decided on which equation I'm using, now I can plug in numbers. So I'm going to get 1/2 of my initial velocity was 15.3, my final velocity is 0, and my time is 2.33 seconds. So my displacement will be 1/2 of 15.3 times 2.33. So when you multiply that out, you will get an answer, and that will be in the units of meters. This velocity is in meters per second. Add meters per second, so this will result in meters per second, and this time is in seconds. So I'm going to have meters per second for my velocity times seconds in my time, and you're going to lose seconds there. Seconds will cancel out, and you'll be left with an answer in meters.